This tutorial is going to show you a few options in the effect menu for distorting or transforming objects. I'm just going to do it on a basic line. And so if I draw just this horizontal line and I go to the effect menu and I go to distort and transform, three options that I'm going to just show you, but you can play around with any of these, is roughen, zigzag, and transform, because these are going to be some that you can apply to your line project. So I'll start with roughen. And on any of these, a window is going to pop up and you can check mark preview to see how your design changes with the settings that you choose. So you can see that this one does kind of random roughen of the edge or the line here, the path. So you can change its size, it can be relative and percentage, or it can be absolute and you plug in the actual measurement here. You can change up how much detail per inch you have. And you can choose whether you want it to have smooth corners or smooth anchor points, and so they look more curved, or corner sharp edges. Now I do want to point out that notice when I clicked OK that my selection, that blue indicator showing me my selection, is still the straight line, because Illustrator thinks of this as an effect on the line. So there's still a straight line, but the effect is the roughen. Now, if you want to be able to manipulate the roughened line, you can expand this, and so then Illustrator will put the anchor points onto that rough line. It's under Object, Expand Appearance, and now you can see that the blue line showing my selection is going with the rough line, and it actually shows the anchor points at every peak or valley. And those you can manipulate. So I could grab this individual anchor point right here, click on it, and then I can manipulate it. I can move it, I can curve it, I can do whatever with that anchor point, or sets of anchor points if I choose that. Okay? So that's the first effect I wanted to show you. Here's another one. Again, I'll start with just a straight line. I go to the Effects menu, Distort and Transform, and this time I'll do Zigzag. Again, you can preview it, and size, ridges per segment, relative, absolute, smooth, and corner. So very similar changes can be made on Zigzag. So again, I can make them bigger. I can have more ridges per segment. Notice the difference between the rough and the zigzag. Zigzag is way more consistent. The spacing, the sizing. Roughen is definitely random. Okay, and the last one, Effect, Distort and Transform. This time I'm going to choose Transform. And this one allows you to, on whatever you have selected, choose an amount of copies. And so I'll just pick arbitrarily 10. Also hit preview. And then you can transform those copies. You can scale them, you can move them, you can rotate them. And then you have options as far as how these things happen. For instance, if I move copies, and I'll move them vertically. In fact, I'll go the other way so I don't cover up my other ones. Okay, so notice I have the 10 copies, and I have moved them vertically 0.1528 inches. I can scale them. So I'll make them go smaller. I can do 80% on horizontal, but then I can also, if I wanted to be uniform, go 80% on vertical. And I will say that on options, if you want to also scale these strokes and effects, if you check mark that, notice now how, when I brought this down to 80%, it also changed the thickness of the line here. So it's starting at a 1 point line, and now it's going down to an 80% of the 1 point. Each step. You can also rotate and change the amount of degrees that it's getting rotated. If I click OK. Okay, again, notice that the only thing selected is my line, and then it is an effect, a transformation on copies on this one single line. If I want to come manipulate any of these lines, once again, I have to go to Object, Expand Appearance, And now you can see that I have all of these lines now accessible with their anchor points. It is thought of as a group, so I can go to Object, Ungroup, and now each one of these is a line that I can click on by itself.